So you'll hear. I just wanted to record it to be able to send out to anyone else who isn't here today and wants to see it. But just an update on where we're at with the people. We have 76 students, 20 educators, and 16 business partners. This is our largest academy to date, so that's really exciting.
Wow.
We had very few drops, which is great too. And the kids are showing up, they're there. Some of them have some issues going on at home with COVID, this and that, but we're working around it and we're trying to find creative solutions that everyone can be a part of it. And then the other part we're going to focus on today is just walking through the design challenges, the mentor piece, because I know some people have some questions on that one, and then that college credit component, which you don't need to worry about, but I just want to make you aware of the change that we did make. So diving into this, these are all the people. So these are the teacher facilitators. These are where they're at, the partners they're with. So you can see, I just wanted you to see this as kind of my little spreadsheet, but you can see all the things that are happening across our area. And we should all be really proud of this because this doesn't happen everywhere. So just seeing all the different companies who makes this up, the teachers, what schools they're from, and each of these teams have about 6 to 8 students on it. So very exciting, fun times for us. If you ever want to copy this, I'd be happy to share it with you. But Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, there are academy things running. And as a side note, because of the success we've had in this academy, we've created a middle school academy that's now running and an elementary school academy that's running. So kids K-12 in Ottawa County are getting this kind of education now. So
that's awesome.
Love that you guys are a part of it. When we think about the people, we also need to think about our policies. Right now, it is a mask mandate for us. So what that means is our expectation is when they're at your business that they have masks on. After January 23rd, we'll give another update. I can't tell you if I think things are going to change, not change. I can probably tell you that on January 23rd. It's not really up to me. I'm kind of just a part of it. So I do what the ISD tells us we need to do. Social distancing, very important when you have the kids there, follow your own company policies with that. With a quarantine situation, if a student's been exposed to COVID, we're going to follow their local district on this one. The ISD, that's the choice that we've made on that. So if it's an Allendale student, we're going to refer back to what does their district say? If it's 5 days or 10 days, and I'll be able to get the team all of that information. As soon as there is an exposure, the educators know to let me know, and then I make sure I let our COVID liaison at our school know, and then we process through who do we need to contact. If they're a student on your team or an educator on your team, or somebody has been in contact with them, it's not just an exposure anymore, but they actually have COVID. That's something we'd like you to let us know if it's been someone who's been in contact with them. And also if one of our students or educators has it, I will make sure to let you know so that if you've been in contact with anybody, we can make sure that you're aware of that as well. With this, please, communication is key. We're all going to do our best that we can. You may get, I don't think you'll get pushback from parents or students or educators. We might get that, but if for some reason you do, please pass that right on to me. That is not part of your job description. You do not have to deal with that in any way, shape, or form. So please just say, you know what? I'm going to have you direct all your questions right at Nicole. That's not a conversation we're going to have here. So you do not have to go down that road with students. I want you to be aware of that. Any questions on COVID? I know there's lots of questions on COVID. That's kind of a silly question. Any questions that maybe I can answer? And you can also put things in the chat. Feel free. You can also follow up with me later too. But we're going to keep kind of moving along because I wanted to share that about the people and just that's our main update on the people situation. But now really what I'm excited about is the components of the academy and what we get to share with the kids. So you're a part of 2 challenges. There's 2 partners. We're in first session right now. Most people on the screen right now are a part of first session, but some of you are in second session. So this, right now you're just kind of a fly on the wall, taking this all in because you're going to go through it starting in February. For first session partners, your final pitch date is February 14th or 15th. That would be a Monday or a Tuesday. That'll be your final day with the students. On the 16th, we are doing something as a whole group. We're doing a reflection and how do we move on to our next partner? This is from feedback from the students and educators of just like the students, how do we prepare them to, like, you did this once, now you're gonna do it again, but do it better even. So we're gonna take that day to spend with the students. So they will pitch with you on February 14th or 15th. That'll probably be your last mentor meeting too, which we're gonna talk about mentor meetings in a second here. If you're thinking second session, your final pitch is going to be the 28th or 29th. My guess is we will not have a large group ending event of the Academy this year. I don't know if we'll be there, but we will do something and we will make sure that it promotes your company, it promotes the students, it promotes their ideas. So we will do something great. I don't know if we'll all be able to come together and have that final event. So right now that's, to be determined. As you're working through your challenges, we're following that creative sequence, which you can see on my screen. That's our design thinking model. The students have kicked off this week. They're in that observation. They're getting to know you. They're getting to know business. They're getting to know their driving question. They're getting to know their teammates, but they're also moving into investigation. So they're building empathy for the people who work there. They're trying to do research. They're trying to interview. They're trying to talk to people. They should be asking questions. And that's going to carry through till next week. They're going to continue investigating. And then mainly when we do these design challenges, if you can bring any sort of knowledge to them, focus on those skills for success. What can they do to be more professional, more ready for those next steps? How can they collaborate, communicate, work together? Those are the parts that they're craving from you to be able to work on and fine tune as they continue moving through this and hopefully apply them to their next steps. So thinking about the schedule and what that looks like. So week 1 is where we're at. Introductions, company tour, they're building empathy, investigating. We're transitioning to week 2, where they're going to start making those company connections, talking, interviewing. And then we have the first mentor meeting in week 2. So you'll have that during week 2 at some point. There's not really a lot of hard rules on when this has to happen, which day, which time's the best. It really depends on your schedule and what can work for your mentors. We're going to talk about that part in a second. Week 3, they're going to keep investigating. Investigating is the biggest part here. And then they're going to start to take all that information, narrow it down, start to calibrate, and come up with ideas in week 4. Make those ideas into possible solutions. Move into building that presentation in week 5, getting some critique, some feedback, and then week 6, they'll pitch to you and have a final reflection. With the reflection, if you would want to be a part of it, we'd love to have you. That's something that if it works for you, great. I'll send out information on it. As an ambassador, you're kind of thinking about that 1 hour per week. How much am I spending with the students? Am I popping in for 15 minutes here? Am I doing this? What might it be? Where is my time being spent? By no means should you feel that you have to be with them the entire 2 hours every day. And I loved hearing in the beginning, like, yeah, I didn't really see him yesterday, but I saw him Monday, or I haven't seen him, but I'm gonna see him. That's perfect. That's exactly what should be happening. So this is kind of the overview of the 6 weeks and where we're at now. Brings us to that mentoring piece, because that's what's gonna happen next week. And I think this might be a spot where there is a little bit of questions of how do I handle this? How do I do it if it's our first time? For the mentor component, you want to think about having a 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio with the student and the employee. Many places will not do the 1-to-1. You're asking 8 people to be there. That's a lot. So please put pressure on yourself to do that. Some companies really like to do that, and that's great. But you could have 2 students meet with 1 person. You could have 3 students meet with 1 person. The goal is that they're having a professional conversation with an adult. And it's not somebody that they know. It's not their mom. It's not their dad. It's not their cousin or their uncle or their coach. This is a new person. And our educators, I hope, are trying to work with them on how can they be professional. What do you do in a professional conversation? And that's something that the mentors can help them with as well. These should be starting next week. So next week should be your first meeting. This is where the student would meet their mentor and they would get to know them. And then they'll have 2 more meetings with them as they go. The third meeting, it's great to have on the final pitch day because then the mentor can see the final pitch and then talk afterwards with the student about like how it went, what could they have done differently, what did they think about it, like what are their goals, they're going to leave the company, and it gives them a chance to have that closure with them. It is good if you can have the same mentor with the same students all 3 times, because then they do start to build a relationship. If that's not possible, 100% okay. If you're like, oh shoot, this person's busy, I got to sub this person in, it's okay. If you would like the mentors to come in through Zoom and they're not actually meeting in person, that's okay too. We can be really flexible with this one, and it's what works best for you. It's as long as we have that professional conversation between the students and mentor. If you're thinking about how do I match my kids up? I have these 6 adults, I have these 8 kids. You know, talk to the kids, get from the teachers. What are they excited about? What are they interested in? And maybe try to match them up based on that. Some groups have done these really great, like little speed networking things where the kids get to meet every mentor and then write down their top choices of who they want to talk more with. That's great too. I'm happy to go over ideas of ways to do this if you'd like to mix it up at all. You know, keep me posted. There's no right or wrong on how to do this. You can also just randomly match them up because the students haven't had this kind of experience before. So that's all right as well. So thinking about mentoring next week, I pulled out the mentor guide for meeting 1. This is what the students all have. You have all been forwarded copies of it. I can drop off hard copies if you'd like for your mentors, but it gives you just some prompts to talk about if they want it. Have to stick to this script. But if it makes people feel more comfortable, feel free to have it. If you think about the meeting, it's probably about a half an hour, 45 minutes. Sometimes it goes longer and the educators know that, but it gives them some questions to ask the students to be able to go back and forth. It also gives students questions to ask the mentor. My instruction to the educators was please have your students bring their guide with them when they go in, so they have this. So if you could help me out and when you're going to meet, say, hey, does everybody have their mentor guide? So we know that the kids are peeking in that and using it. The theme of the week 1 meeting is to be accountable. What does that mean? What does that look like? We tried to pull our skills for success into the framework of these meetings. The one change here is it does say students will have their resumes available for review. The students are actually building their resume drafts this week as their assignment, so they will not have those. But it's still great for your mentors to talk about it. Say, hey, what are you thinking about for your resume? Maybe you've already done a draft. Do you know what a resume is? So that just has to shift a little bit. We didn't feel that they were ready yet to put those together. So they're building their drafts this week. They're actually due on Sunday. So they will not have that part of it. But sharing and talking about the resume would be great. Anyone, any questions on that mentor meeting and what the mentor's purpose is? I want to make sure you feel confident in that. All right, well, we'll slide on. So the other component that I wanted to share with you, and I think it's pretty exciting, we changed the credit option to it's a project management professional course. It's BUS 108. It's through Muskegon Community College. They are doing it through a Google Classroom that we did create, and they're going to get 3 transferable credits for it. The students do not have to pay for this. The ISD is paying for this as long as they pass the course, you know, so we are paying for that for them. I love this course and the terminology that they have. So the students have words of the week. Every week, there's 5 different words that deal with project management. They have an assignment every week. So last week's were what are the essential elements that go into project management? It was an article they read and they had to give some feedback on it. And then they also have their design challenges that are a huge part of it. They have a midterm exam. They have a final exam as well. So this course, I think, will really help our students understand what it is to manage a project and hopefully be able to use the terminology. Some of the terminology for last week was empathy, stakeholder, design thinking. This week we're looking at, I think we had project organization in there. We have some different words in there about just like how do they like structure their project. So we're trying to put a little more to it they're going to have to build a breakout schedule of their project. They're going to have to go through that part of it. They're going to actually have to do like a potential budget for your project, which I know we haven't done that in the past. So they're going to have to look at some sides that they haven't had to do before and look at how are they going to even assess risk in the situation. Like if we do this, where's the risk for the company? So I'm hoping it's going to push their solutions a little bit deeper, but also force them to think about some things that they haven't thought about in the past. So I'm very excited about this shift. I think the students are excited about it because we are now running it through Google Classroom. It's a little bit friendlier than the system we were running it through before. They are more comfortable with it as well. I'm trying each week to put a new video on Google Classroom for them so that like last week's video was introducing them to the class and how to find an assignment. This week will be how to make sure, I had a question from a student, they weren't sure how to upload their assignment. So we'll make sure I get that on there. I am more than happy to add all of you into the class if you'd just like to see the information. You have no responsibility to this class. I'll send you all an invite so you can join it if you want. Zero responsibility for the class at all. Just knowing that they're in it and what they're going through with it is great. They have assignments every week and exams, and they have discussion topics, and they also have weekly reflections each week too that focus on different concepts. So that's the change on that. So you'll hear them talking about that, I'm sure. And then really for me, we just have a few more meetings coming up with you all every month. We'll do this. I'm sure you noticed that I really struggled with my January dates. I, for some reason, had it like the 17th, which was a Sunday. So, you know, I try, but we mess up sometimes. But we can see on here, we're going to meet again in a month. That next meeting will be right at the end of first session. So we'll be gearing up for session 2, talking about maybe some things we want to change from session 1. And then we'll have another meeting in March before the second session ends. But as you know, I'm available anytime. Please reach out. I can come out. We can Zoom. We can just talk on the phone. If you see a problem or a challenge, let's try to address it right away. Get it out there. Let's work on it together. We know this year is challenging. We've seen from our educators just in school, it's a hard year. So for many of them, this is a highlight where they get to come out of their classroom. They get to be with these students who care a lot. So they're very excited to be there and be with you, but there's still challenges. And we know that the kids are facing a lot with quarantines or being sick and not coming if they have symptoms, and how can they remote in? So we're gonna practice grace and flexibility, but know that the students are getting so much from being a part of your company and being able to be with you all. So I appreciate it. I've gotten a ton of pictures this week already from teams, and they're doing great things already. You'll probably see me at some point. Our teachers are getting so fantastic with this that I'm more of a hindrance when I come, where they're like, like we have to stop, you know, so I try to stay out of their way a little bit. But if you ever need me or want me to come, I love to come. So that's great. And that's all really I had for you. So if you have any concerns, ideas, hopes, please let me know. I did want to show you one other thing that we are doing this year that I'm pretty excited about. We asked our students to document their journey with you. So we last year made a video of your company, most of you. If you were in the academy last year, you had a video made. If you were not, we're going to get you a video made this year. And it's a 2-minute video about who you are and why you do programs like this. And we're putting them on the West Michigan PBL Network webpage. So what this is going to transition to is you're actually going to eventually get your own page on there. So you'll have your video, and then you're going to have something like this. This is one from our GVSU team when Annette Koval was one of their ambassadors, and she helped create it. So each team has a Padlet like this, and the students have to fill it in and be able to give information for it. So they have to go through, they have to share all of their, kind of like as they go through the process, what happened, what worked well, and then they put pictures in. They're going to have the video of their pitch in here. This is going to go on your company webpage. So you'll have that. We want to make sure that these projects these kids are doing with you are published, they're out there, and people see that you're doing this awesome work in the community. So this is one way we're going to do it. We have over 100 educators who are a part of this West Michigan PBL. We have educators in Kent, Muskegon, Ottawa. So it's a group all working together that we post a lot of teachers' projects on, but we want to also focus on the community and have pages for all of our partners too. So what we do on those pages is we'll put together a draft for you and then approve the draft before we ever post it. And then you'll be able to see it. Your videos are on the page now that were approved from last year. So that's fun. And you'll have probably your pitch from last year on there. So anytime you do projects with Future Prep, we'll make sure we keep upping that page and making sure that everyone can see like, oh, wow, like GVSU is an amazing partner. Look at the cool stuff they're doing. So it's something that's a work in progress, but we're trying to make it happen. I can show you all the page. So this is our actual web page that we're creating. This is being created with these partners along the bottom. MySTEM is funding the project. And right now for our community oh, you're still seeing the PowerPoint?
Yes.
Well, so sorry. Let me fix it. Oh, you guys never got to see the Padlet then.
Nope.
All right, hold on. Let's see here.
But we were being patient.
Thank you. All right, so can you see the Padlet now? Or just, yeah, Padlet? Okay, good. So this is what we'll create for you. And you can see there's pictures in it. There's information about what the team's doing together. There's pictures from their final like pitch out. So each team and every driving question will have this. The other reason in this too is every team has always asked for like, I'd like to see their journey and keep it with me. So you'll have access to this page and be able to have everything that they created and did. This one was created after the fact, so we could only work with the pictures that we had from it, where now they know going into it that they're doing it. So my weekly reminders to them says, make sure you have your student updating your Padlet journey for us. So I'm going to switch pages again. Do you see a West Michigan PBL network page now? So
Yep.
This is a web page that we're creating with these partners at the bottom. iSTEM is funding it, and we're working on creating it. We have right now their PBL experiences. We have over 60 projects on there that teachers have done from around the area that are fully laid out, and they have a Padlet journey with them also, and then they share what they did during the project. We're also working on just protocol examples, and then we do have our page that has the community and industry partners. So you can see a lot of your videos are on here, but these will soon turn into then actual just your own page. So we'll click on here, I'll say GVSU, and then you'll go right to GVSU's own page. So this is all just behind the scenes stuff we're trying to pull together to be more of a resource for teachers, but also to let the community know all the cool things that are happening here.
Okay.
You all are doing.
Can you tell us, I should say, again, how these videos are created?
Yep. So we had an intern last year and he created all of them. It was a student intern, and he looked at, during the academy, he went and met with them and he looked at, what does your company do? And then why do you do programs like the academy? Like, why do you work with students? And for those of you who are not a part of the academy last year, we're going to hopefully hit you this year and get you a video as well. It's just I think they're around 2 to 3 minutes.
I see.
Any other questions about the academy? Any concerns we're having, ideas? You know, I'm happy we're in person. That's a great step for us. Last year, I know we didn't get to do that so much, but we're there. If for some reason you need to go virtual, snow days, any of that, every team is setting up an option to meet remote. So if there's a day, I'll send an email out in the morning and say, hey, your team's going to need to be virtual today. Your team should still be meeting. So if you had a time you were going to meet with them, or you had a speaker lined up, you're just going to move all that to Zoom because that time is already carved out for them. They'll either be doing Zoom or most likely Google Meets. So either one. But we do plan on meeting on snow days. We've talked about it and
Mhm.
things to keep rolling, so. All right, well, keep up the good work. I appreciate you all. Thanks for tuning in today and keep me posted if there is anything I can do.